Hello and welcome to day 18 of the 30 and 30. If you're new here, my name is Erin and we are in the midst of calving season here in Northeast Wyoming. Cow's actual official due date is not until the 15th. Today is Saturday, is it the 12th? The 12th of April. So we're still a few days away from their actual due date, but having calves daily, had 2 already today. I'm just out checking. 66 finally calved. I've been saying I thought she was going to be the first one to calve, and she finally just calved this morning, and then 46 also calved this morning. So everybody's doing good. It's decently warm. There's maybe a chance of precipitation. Hello, number 6. Everybody's, well, not all the calves, but a lot of them are laying down. Some of them are up nursing, I can see. Finishing their bale from this morning. Are you in labor at 59, or did you just use the restroom? Okay, do you have an ear tag, right? Yeah. 86 is, nope, 66. I have a number 86. She's also a red calf. This is 51. She calved yesterday. 66 did not let me take her calf this morning, which was somewhat surprising. She wasn't super aggressive, but calf was up and I couldn't get a good hold on it, and Mom was real interested in the tagging gun, and so I'll try and catch the calf here again at some point and see if I can get her tagged. Oh, she's up nursing. 66 is that red cow. Moon Pie. That's quite the nap you're taking. Moon Pie's a yearling. She's fine. Just sleeping. Do you want to be my friend? Get one piece. Oh, yeah, now we're friends? Okay. I'm going to take that baby. I'll be back later. There's the baby. All black. I'm trying to show him your baby. Okay. Oh, okay, fine. We're done. We're done. Where's the baby? All right, next to you. I don't want to run it over. I'm 99% sure it's a heifer. Oh, 65. We're not starting that again today. $65 has been somewhat of a nuisance. Oh, number 5, that's a good nap. I used 3 different bulls last year during breeding season. I bred my heifers, which are the first time moms that haven't calved before. They got bred to a Hereford bull, so I will have Hereford Angus crosses. And then my cows, everybody that had at least one calf already, they got bred to Black Angus bulls. And their names, so everybody has names. Hereford bull is Ferg, the Black Angus bulls are Max and LOL. Yeah, Max and LOL. LOL is no longer here. I sold LOL this winter because he would have started to breed his daughters, because I've been keeping back calves and heifers and breeding them again. And so when you do that, then you have to cycle out your bulls sooner. So yeah, that's where all the white faces are coming from, is from Ferg, the Hereford bull. And he was a bit of a fence jumper. So he also bred some of the cows, which I knew that was a possibility. Of course, I'd seen him and chased him back and fixed fence, and like it happened multiple times. It's okay, but we can definitely tell like which ones are his, because that white face from the Hereford is a dominant trait. So she is, Hereford bulls haven't been used here on the ranch for a very long time, but I do have some white face cows, and so they are part Hereford somewhere in their line. But primarily black and red Angus have been used on the ranch for a very long time. Excuse me, I'm trying to show the babies. Okay, look at the number 4 came out of a heifer, and then 15 is hers. And so one of the black Angus bulls could have bred that calf, could have bred 48, and the white face could be coming from her, or it could have come from the Hereford bull. It's hard to say unless I did like a DNA test, which I will not do. 46 is my other one that calved this morning. She had a bull calf. Calf is number 19. It's standing right beside her. And then I guess she's babysitting. So that's great. Cows babysit. If you didn't know that, that is a thing that they do. She had a solid black calf. And then there's 4 little Hereford Angus cross babies hanging out with her. Her baby has his butt to us. I just gave them a little few pieces of cake. 63 is the other one that's here. Number 3 is her calf. There's the new baby. Here's number 2. I've got calves in front of me, so I can't move, so I'm just gonna wait for them to move. I obviously don't want to run anybody over, so we just have to be patient and wait, and they'll lose interest in me. And I have to roll up my window, otherwise moms will stick their head in. I got asked somewhere, I don't know where, because I've been posting all over the places and stuff, but somebody asked what is cake. They're new, and so what is cake? Cake is, it's a pressed pellet. It is grass based. It's got some alfalfa in it and different grasses. There's also like some corn in it. It's got minerals. It has protein. You can get different protein levels depending on like the time of the year. You can get different minerals in it depending on what your mineral needs are and stuff. But yeah, this is like a treat to them. They really like it. Tastes really good. They get cake every other day, along with like I do mineral supplementation and salt and stuff like that too. But it's just part of like their feed program, and they get roughly about 2 pounds per every other day is when I feed cake. And we just feed it when we do hay also. So yeah, that's what cake is if you're unfamiliar with it. Okay, well now there's more babies in front of me instead of less. It'd be really great if the calves would get just like a tiny bit more respectful of the gator, but it's okay. It will come in time. I'm just going super slow so everybody can move. There we go. All right. Yeah, watch out, 63. Cows also need to learn some boundaries sometimes. They won't, but they need to. I'm gonna head back to the shop. We're gonna unload some feed that Jeff picked up yesterday from Dakota Mill over in South Dakota. As of right now, nobody else is in labor, but like I talked about in the video that you guys are watching today, Saturday, they are being very sneaky with having calves. So we'll see what the rest of the day brings and if we end up having any more. Jeff is unloading feed from the stock trailer. So Jeff went and picked it up yesterday over in Belfouche, South Dakota. I think Belfouche is like 110 miles from here. I don't know specifically. Oh gosh, Jeff, don't dump that. That's cake, I believe. This. It's real wobbly, and you guys can't even see. That's gonna get set there for now. It goes in the barn, but the Hustler bale spooler spreader is in the way, so. That is a pallet puller. That is what gets used in order to move those pallets until he can get the forks on them. I'm going to talk to you guys about price, because that was also a question I had. The 3 tons of feed that were picked up yesterday in total cost $1,313.78. So, expensive little trip to South Dakota yesterday. So the bags themselves cost $20 a piece, and they do not take them back. They cannot be recycled, and I believe that's primarily because of it's because of potential contamination, and I don't know that they can be sanitized. I just know they won't take them back, unfortunately. So yeah, that's $60 each time. Nothing I can do about that. They don't charge us for the pallets, so that's cool. The cake, which was actually, so it's on, everything on my invoice is done by hundredweights. And so there's 21.7 hundredweights, so 2,170 pounds of cake is what is in the bag. So the bags will always vary in weight. And so when I order a tote, it's approximately 2,000 pounds, but it doesn't always come out to that exactly. So a little over a ton, and that is 25% protein, and it is $21 per hundredweight, so it came out to $455.70. And then I also got COB, corn, oats, and barley, which is what I feed the steers that are on grain in the feedlot. And I also got a tote of chicken, of hen scratch is what they call it. And so this is where it gets a little bit confusing, and I didn't pre-math this out, and I probably should have, but I didn't. So obviously the COB that the steers eat has corn in it, and then the chicken feed also has corn in it. So I had 1,900 pounds of corn, 560 pounds of oats, that's for the COB, 910 pounds of barley, again COB, and so it's about 600 pounds of corn. Yeah, math is in the COB. And then, so it's a pretty close ratio. Corn and oats are pretty close to the same ratio, and then barley is slightly higher. And then the remainder of the corn then goes into the chicken feed. Also in the chicken feed, there is there's 2 bags of lay pellets, 16% protein layer pellets. There is oyster shells. They do put soy oil on the chicken feed that helps keep dust down. I don't have them put the soy oil on the COB because I don't want it for the steers. I guess I could take it out of the chicken feed too. I guess I haven't necessarily always paid attention to see that it's in the chicken feed. Yeah, so that's how that priced out. So it doesn't say the individual prices on here for what the COB and the chicken feed are. And like I said, I didn't pre-math this out, but $1,313 minus $455, whatever that math is, and then that's the other 2 totes. Oh, I didn't talk about individual price. Corn. My corn total for the 1,900 pounds was $210. Oats for 560 pounds is $112. Barley cost $182 for the 910 pounds. Wheat, oh, there's wheat. I didn't talk about that either. Wheat is in the chicken scratch, and that was 600 pounds of wheat. That was $91.80. Oh, and then there's a rolling fee. And so that's the total weight they charge. It's $2.75 per hundredweight. So my rolling fee for the whole order was $114. So anyhow, that's a whole bunch of math, a whole bunch of numbers. But yeah, that's how it gets invoiced. That's how it comes back to me, is just all the different weights. And then you kind of have to figure out like what goes into what. I could call and ask Jen and be like, hey, what does a tote of hen scratch cost? But then it does vary because they weigh it as they like mix it. So like I talked about, I don't put soy oil in the COB, and that's just my choice. It just helps cut down on the dust. And then they also don't do molasses. So they used to put molasses in it. Dakota Mill in Belle Fourche, like it's a very old mill. It's very cool, but I believe a long time ago, like part of the mill broke down and they can't do molasses anymore, and it's just never been fixed. And that's fine. Cows love the molasses, and obviously it's like giving some calories and stuff, but in the wintertime here, it like sticks together. In the summertime, it attracts flies. And so I'm personally not super upset that there is no molasses in it. The cows still eat it even without the molasses, and then it's just easier to feed. So, okay, we are going to, we're gonna fill up the bulk chicken feeder because it is empty. So we've been using up the very last of the chicken feed that I had from the last order, but that chicken feeder is pretty much all done and can be filled back up. There's the COB. This is cake. That's the hen scratch. See how they're all like different? They all end up weighing different amounts. Okay, I'm gonna grab the tractor and we'll pick up the tote with the tractor. As I was walking to the tractor, I looked over here, just checking on 7. She had her leg all stretched out. I don't know if you guys could see it. Making sure we're just comfortable and laying down and not. Are we in labor? If you go back a few videos, 17 has a limp. And so she's a cow. She is an older cow. I don't think she's in labor. I think she was just laying funny. She's in here because of her limp. And then these are the rest of my heifers. There's 5 heifers in here that haven't calved yet. Okay. The rule is if you walk by the heifers, you have to look at them because, you know, they need to be supervised during calving. They've kind of all stalled out. I've talked about this. We haven't had a heifer calve. I'd have to go back and look, but it's been quite a while. They're all kind of very similar in like what their udder looks like, how swollen and springy they are. We're just kind of playing the waiting game with the heifers. I'm trying to read hand signals, and everybody has different hand signals. Apparently I did what he needed me to do, so that's great. Okay, Jeff has put, there is actually 2 ties in there. And Jeff is putting, so there's an outer tie, that's what he's untying right now. And then there's one on the inside as well. So all the grain's not gonna come out right this second. And then you'll see a little chute like comes down, and then we put a valve on because the entire bag of chicken feed does not fit in the feeder that I have. almost all of it fits, but not every part of it. And so then when it empties, then we'll have to refill it. And so this is a little valve system that we have that makes refilling a lot easier. It also makes it easier to stop the flow of grain when it gets full. I know it looks like Jeff's head and stuff is underneath there. It's not. Yeah. You can kind of see the grain go down through the bag. You can see how much is left still. And like I said, it won't all fit. Usually end up having a couple 100 pounds left over. And then he turns it off, and well, maybe we'll get just a little tiny bit more in there. You gotta fill it as full as you can. That's the goal. I thought I was recording that and I wasn't. I just lowered it down. It was very dramatic. And Jeff's gonna get it unchained. And there, that project is done. Chicken feed is full. Jeff is going to finish putting feed away. Kate goes in the sales barn. COB goes across the road for the feedlot steers. The hustler is in the way, like I said earlier, so that's got to get hooked up just to get moved. But that's okay, we'll need the hustler tomorrow. I don't know exactly how many days that will take to go through that tote of chicken feed. Probably 6 to 8 weeks. It's been a while since I've tracked it, and it kind of always just depends on the time of the year, like how many bugs and other, where's my gator? I need the gator. How many bugs and like grass and like other things that they're just like naturally finding, because my chicken's free range. And then wintertime, like they eat more feed. It also just depends on how many chickens I have, which I don't know how many chickens I have, all of them. So, yeah, if I knew very specifically like how many chickens I had, I could tell you like how many days that would last, but I don't know, okay? And I just took a whole bunch of chicks out of the incubator and put them into the brooder. So I will actually insert that clip here so you guys can see that. 54 new chickens added to the brooder. 2 more, like I said, still in the incubator, and more that are pipped. I did open it, so that does drop the humidity, so we'll see if those hatch. But it was super crowded at 48 hours old. These guys, like, they could have been in there another day, but I usually do open at 48 hours. And if some don't hatch, some don't hatch. But yeah, a whole lot of chickens in here. They're all nice and lively. They're doing good. I will be moving them out of here. Actually, I'm selling some of these. Some of them are for sale, and then when they get a little bit bigger, they will go in with the other chickens. But yes, here in the next few days, some of these will get sold and out of here, so there will not be that many in here forever. The baby chicks get fed chick starter. I just buy that by 50-pound bags at the local feed store, rather than like, I don't buy a whole tote of chicken starter. I don't even know if they'd sell it. I would just probably be able to buy it from Dakota Mill, but in 50-pound bags. So yeah, until the little chickens are a lot bigger, they just eat starter. So, and that's like a crumble, and it's got different nutrients in them for what they need, as they are just little tiny chicks compared to adult like laying hens. So yeah, I don't know. Today's April 12th. Somebody remind me that it was April 12th when I filled up the feeder, and then when it's empty, I'll let you guys know, and we'll calculate how many days the chicken feed lasts. Anybody want to remind me to do this? Oh, okay, I'm actually gonna go work in my high tunnel for a little bit and get some planting and stuff done, and I'll maybe give you guys like a little update. I'm not gonna film it all because like I just need to, sometimes you just need to like bust some stuff out, right? And I need to like just focus on planting, and I really am enjoying doing the daily vlogs, but it's also hard to like sometimes just like I need the no mental stimulation of like filming and moving the camera, and I just need to do the work. So I'm gonna go do the work for a couple hours, get some stuff done out there, and then we'll check cows again. the sunset and the sky and the view and grazing cows and healthy baby calves is a great way to end the day on day 18 of the 30 and 30, I would say. Saturday. Saturday's done. Nobody is in labor. Nobody else calved. Today, I did get 66 calf tagged earlier. Michelle was actually with me, and she just fed 66 cake out the window of the gator, and calf was laying down, and so I just was able to sneak up on it and get it tagged. So everybody's tagged so far, which is great. Real happy about that. So yeah, I do have a few that I think are pretty close, and we're not even at their due date yet. So yeah, we'll see how many more actually end up calving before due date, and we're off to a good start. And having 2 a day was great. It'd be great if we could have, I'm not gonna be greedy, they're gonna come when they're gonna come, but yeah, it's nice to have a couple a day. And I've still got a ways to go and stuff, but yeah, let's get this. I'm happy with how things are progressing, but we're still a long ways from being done. But I am already starting to think about May and what needs to happen in May, and calving season, it can't last forever. So one thing I want to say is that this has been talked about before, but I've been asked how many more to go and stuff. And I talk about how many heifers, there's 11 heifers in total that need to calve, and there's 5 left and stuff. 63 is trying to get into the windshield. I probably will never say very specifically how many cattle I have. And there's a couple of different things about that. And a lot of that comes, or a couple of reasons why. And a lot of that really comes from my stepdad, Gilbert. He always taught me that was in this part of the country. This is a very regional thing and stuff too. And I think it was his generation as well. I think it's somewhat different now and stuff. But it's considered rude to some extent to ask how many cattle you have, because it's essentially give me your asset column, please, from your tax return. Yeah, I mean, everybody can look up, price of cattle is very public, and it does vary. Oh, you see the zoom in? Vary from region to region and stuff, but with a little bit of research, and with my numbers and stuff, you guys could very easily figure out exactly how many, what my value of my assets is. And these cattle are assets at the end of the day. They are my life. They are my livelihood. They're a huge part of what I do, obviously. This is a ranch. I raise animals and I raise beef and stuff, but yeah, it is my financial livelihood as well too. So I've tossed the idea back and forth, or how I feel about it and stuff. And Gilbert just always said, you don't ask that. And I didn't understand it. I didn't. And that had to be explained to me. And so I was okay, I get it. And so it's not something I would ever, I very rarely ask that question to another rancher and stuff. And, I don't know. I'm still thinking about if I want to actually share that. So I hope you guys can understand that. And I understand that it's a very regional thing. And I know it's kind of dairy people and stuff will say how many head they're milking. And yeah, I mean, I've encountered other beef producers that are just oh yeah, I have 60 head or whatever. That's fine. It's just not something that I'm super comfortable with. And, I'm okay with that. So I may at some point share that number. I may not. I don't know. I've tossed the idea back and forth and actually thought about it a lot because it keeps coming up in comments and stuff. So, and the entirety of calving will not happen in 30 and 30. We won't be finished when I end this in 2 weeks. So, because we are 2 weeks away from the live stream, when I'm recording this. So yeah. Anyhow, everybody here is healthy and happy. Calving season is going well. Knock on wood. Let's hope it continues. So I'd like to get those heifers done, like I've said. So anyhow, we'll see how many calves we have tomorrow. I will probably film Sunday morning chores because I've done it for 2 weeks, so we might as well do it for 3 weeks, right? The calves are hitting the gator. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. The wind is going to blow 55 miles an hour tomorrow. So, and it's picking up now. So, okay. Thank you guys so much for being here for day 18 of the 30 and 30. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I'm going to get iodine on this iodine bottle leaks. Put that over there. Thank you so much for being here. We'll do chores tomorrow and maybe take a look at who I think is next to calve. I don't know. We'll see what the vibe is tomorrow morning. So, anyhow, thank you so much for being here. I will see you tomorrow.